Hi guys, it's another week on our favorite channel, Honey and Lemons. Hey, how's your week? Well, my week was good. My week was actually good. It was way better than last week. It was way better. I don't know why I'm speaking plenty for me again. I promise I'm not as stressed as I was last week, but I don't know why I'm speaking plenty for me. Honestly, you guys need to start gisting me stuff. I shouldn't just be the one talking. You need to tell me stuff that goes on. Well, a little bit of the stuff that goes on, as much as you would permit in your life. Whew. So my week was good. It was really good. I had visits from friends. I turned up over the weekend, last weekend. What else? Basically just we trying to adult and trying not to let this exhaustion overwhelm us like it is trying to. But yeah, basically that's how good my week was. I told people I have gist for you. So it's not like gist. It's like me reporting myself to you as usual, right? But I'll still give you the gist. So today's topic that will facilitate the gist is emotional thin lines. Now, what does that mean? Are there thin lines between love and hate? Are there thin lines between respect and arrogance, or humility and arrogance? Is there a thin line between most opposite emotions? For example, is there a thin line between honor and dishonor? Is there a thin line between friendship and enmity? Is there a thin line? Are there really thin lines between these emotions? Let me give you the gist. That is the reason. I don't know why I'm smacking my lips so much, but I'll also give you the gist that facilitated this question that I'm asking. So, you know how everybody has personal boundaries, right? You always have this line at which you really think people should not cross. Some people can cross it, but it's just if you allow them. Everybody has boundaries, not just that they believe. You might not know it, but there are some things that just tick you off in some form of light. Like someone does something. I, for one, like throwing stuff on the road or out of a moving vehicle. Oh, like when stuff like that happen, there's like a button in my head that just does, and then I now have to remind myself that, okay, so this is not your relative, this is not your friend, so you have to be very careful with what you say and how you talk to the person. And most times I actually just don't say anything, but I probably give a look like but let me now give you the gist. So I was coming back from the salon one day, and just outside the place I'll take a cab going to, let me call this place town A. Just outside the place I'll take a cab going to town A, I met a driver of a cab, actually. So I assumed that that's where you'd enter town A vehicles from. And so I was like, oh yes, I was commuting this one. And I asked the driver, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to town A. Where would I get a vehicle going to town A? And at the same time, this beautiful woman just walks up to me. She asked me to, she's like, okay, so I'm going to town A. Where will I enter the vehicle? And I'm like, oh, that's what I'm asking the driver. And then the driver, this man, he's not the driver of our vehicle. But then the man says, oh, so often if I just join money, Mona, take drop. Right? Meaning, oh, the both of you should have combined your transport fares together so that you can take a private vehicle. Well, private, as per the driver would drop you at your preferred destination and not carry any other passenger. And then I looked at the lady, she looked at me, and then we smiled. We're like, no, we actually want the vehicle going to town A. And he said, okay, no problem, cross the road. So he pointed to the place, and basically it was just like, you just had to cross the road to the other side. And the girl was actually laughing with me. I was like, ugh. So this man would have just treated us like this. And I actually laughed. I was like, that's how most people can be. And so we entered the vehicle, and maybe because the girl felt like, oh well, I don't know, maybe providence or something, she she just instinctively assumed that I'm her sister, my long lost sister from her mother or father. And then she begins to talk to myself and the driver of the vehicle we entered, and she's laughing and she's touching my shoulders. She's laughing and like, I wish I could replay this laughter. So stuff like and then she threw her head on my shoulder and I'm like no. Then she'll say stuff again and she'll tap me like, yes, do you know? And she'll tap me, yes, I'm like, okay. And then I think she kind of like noticed that I closed up a little, and she, after a while, the conversation died down. She stopped asking me questions, right? So it made me to start thinking that, is it because we entered the same vehicle and then we probably went through the same circumstance like 4 or 5 minutes ago? You just assume that we're friends, Am I actually her friend at that point? Wasn't that a little bit I honestly felt it was a little bit too personal. Like, I'm not even asking you people. So if you want to judge me with your full chest. But I felt like that was a little too personal. You can't be tapping me and laughing on my shoulder and, just assuming that we're G's in quotes. And at some point, a little part of me felt like, oh, okay, you're not taking this too far. But then the thing is, there's a thin line between being polite and being overtly friendly, right? Let me give another relatable example. So you know how you can be friendly with the opposite sex? I don't know, every time I say opposite sex, I'm like, oh, what's that word? You know how you can be friendly with guys, male men, right? As a woman, and it will get mistaken for being flirtatious. This person asks you a question, you answer. This person says something and then you smile and you answer the question very politely. But then, society has just made it look like you being friendly, you being polite and friendly can now be mistaken for being flirtatious. That's one. Number two, it's very possible that you don't even know that there is a boundary between being polite and answering this person's questions wholeheartedly with a smile sometimes. You don't know when you've crossed the line.